Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Weekly Bazaar, week 19, and I'm your host, Alex Whiteley. This is all part of the USUK podcasting network, and joined with me today is Shane Chipsy. How's it going, mister?
I'm good, man. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. We're missing a certain all card today. She's not feeling too good. We can get you can get your own back now with her corner, sick note.
Colour what I like. Yeah, colour what. Yeah. Oh, this is not gonna fly.
Well, it's a verbal warning on this occasion, Lucy, but next time it'll be a written one. Yeah, we're both coming here with our shades today. I gotta say, the reason why I recorded What's the Difference last night with James, co-founder of Thorskin. It was really cool, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I had to explain that I'm wearing shades and a hat because I need to have a feature to my face, because what I accidentally done is I accidentally shaved my moustache too far down and too far up. I like to groom. I like to look smart. I feel like I have a very featureless face without facial hair. I feel like I'm Mr. Potato Head without the accessories, right?
Hey, that's just not true, mate. You got very, very, how shall I put it? Distinguishable features.
Yeah, like mold of clay that's been thrown against the wall. No, but what I did last night, because I do spend quite a bit of time grooming. Every guy will know the moustache troubles, right? Moustache troubles, they're just the worst, whether it's too thick, too thin. And so I thought I'd bring it down from the nostrils a little bit,
Yeah.
But I did it too far, and I've forgotten his name. Tom told me last night, that really camp American guy with a really thin moustache. He's like, hello, and he's got a really thin pencil moustache. I looked like that with a beard, and it just didn't go. And then I sort of shaved my moustache off, and my brother has always had this kind of Wolverine thing going, and I thought, fuck, I just look like Sam. No, this isn't going to fly. So.
Or Amos Brayley from Emmerdale. Which a lot of our listeners won't remember. Show me age there.
That's the guy with the big lamb chops, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
That's it, Amos Brayley, yeah. He was known for his big lamb chops.
Yeah.
I always thought he was like, a retired Wolverine. He retired from fighting super criminals and just thought,
sat down with his pipe.
Yeah, I'll just retire to a pub in Yorkshire.
Pint of stout, a pipe, and some scampi. Yeah,
that's it. Grow a little pot belly. Every now and again, when there's trouble in the wool pack, snicked.
Yeah. Back off, laddie. I'm going to take the glasses off though. I can't really see out of them.
It's not very good if you can't see, is it?
No. They're Timmies. They are. They've got like fingerprints all over them and stuff. But no, yeah, I'll shave my beard off. It's one of those situations where I feel uncomfortable with my face. It's really weird.
Really, you're looking sexy, mate. You're looking very sexy. Don't worry.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week, Shane. How have you been? You been all right?
Not too bad, mate. I've had it's been an up and down week health-wise, because I'm getting old and falling apart and bits are falling off, but not all the important bits are still there, and I'm getting through it.
It's. I think we've all had a long, hard look at ourselves, haven't we, over the last sort of 4 months? We've been sat at home. Some of us have been exercising. Some of us have not. Been doing the opposite.
Yeah.
And we've spent a lot of time by ourselves. I mean, do you think that isolating and being away from the social aspect of life adds like a sort of a different perspective on looking at yourself as a person? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you're definitely more introspective when you're, there's a bit of navel gazing going on, isn't there? When you're on your own for a long time, gives you time to think. I mean, I'm an introvert, believe it or not. So I like being alone, and I spend a lot of time thinking. My mum always said when I was a little kid, you think too much, and I did, and I still do. So I'm quite used to the isolation, and I quite enjoy isolation. But even an introvert likes people and likes to be around people. It's just in a different way, You just don't you don't deal with it in the same way, and it takes a lot of energy to be around crowds. So crowds tire you out, but you still love human interaction. So what happens is, for the first couple of months, I was like, yeah, this is great. I don't have to make excuses not to go out. I can just stay in as much as I like. I can just stay at home, watch TV, blah blah blah. Go for walks on my own. Lovely. But then after a couple of months, it's like I really want to see people. I want to interact with people. And I think even the most introverted person eventually starts to take its toll on you mentally.
I think you'd always have that. You'd always have that friend that would be like, "Are you all right, mate?"
Yeah.
Come around with a 4-pack, everything all right. If you've got that friend and they can't come around, then you miss that aspect.
Yeah, and of course we've been able to now, haven't we? You can go to a friend's house with a beer or whatever, and that's been really good. Just being able to make contact with people. I even went to a pub. I think I might have mentioned it last week.
Wow.
Even went to a pub. We had our own room. I wasn't going to go with the rabble, but just the two of us, me and my mate. My sister calls this friend of mine the wife.
The wife. Oh yeah, we've all got a friend. We've got one of their friends. Yeah.
So it was great though. Just had a few beers and had caught up. We hadn't seen each other face to face since the lockdown started because he'd had a heart op. He got a son who had to shield as well. So as soon as it kicked off, he was working from home. Yeah. No contact. So this is the first time he'd been out. First time I'd been into a pub. And it was really nice to see him, and also really nice to drink proper beer.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah,
not out of a can.
Last weekend we were sat outside the Beacon in Copthorne, and I was drinking cider. So strongbow cider. I usually like my IPA and stuff, but it was just nice being in the sun.
Oh yeah, nice weather, cider weather. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to Bibbs and Bill Tomaszewski as well. The other day I did 2 audio voice tours of Shrewsbury, one at St Mary's and one at Bear Steps with Bibbs. Now Bibbs and me, we've worked with each other a couple of times on the biscuit, but we made this nice friendship, especially me and Bill. Bill is he's the guy that's put us and TV Guestbert together because Jackie's like a member of the family. And after I finished, so this day was just horrendous. Like Bibbs she's an older lady. It's really hard. She's struggling, and I'm just like, thank you so much. You're an absolute trooper. I'll take you for a drink after this. She goes, no. You come to ours, and you'll have a cold beer. And I was like, okay. So I live there. She lives in town. So we went to her house. And Bill, if you've never met Bill, is this really loud guy from Philly. He calls himself Billy from Philly. He's fantastic. And I go to the house, and Bibbs is like, Alex is coming for a cold beer. We've just been out in the and he's like, absolutely. I've got a cold one in the fridge right now. Take your seat, man. I'll look after you. He goes and gets this beer. He's like, you sit down. This is nice and cold. So I'm sitting there drinking this really nice beer. We had this conversation for about an hour in their lovely house. And then we started talking about Hawaii because it's the first place I went abroad, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, give me a second, will you, Alex? And he goes upstairs and he comes down with these tropical shirts. And he's like, speaking of Hawaii, these are for you, man. These are for you. And he gives literally the shirt off his back. Is amazing.
What a gent. What a gent. And now you're obligated to wear them.
I love them. I wore because they were clean out of his wardrobe. The one with the blue flowers I wore that night because I went to a house.
I can see you rocking a Hawaiian shirt really well, actually, Alex.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. You could pull that off, no problem, no problem at all. I just look like deficient when I. I just look fashion deficient person when I wear something like that.
I feel like when I got my shorts, and if I'm going to wear a tropical short, I feel like Hank from Breaking Bad. There's a bear shit in the woods. Anyway, look, we've got some news to talk about this week. We haven't separated these stories into. I think what we'll do is we'll go through them and talk with them between ourselves. We'll start off with what's been going on. We'll catch up with COVID, I think. There's lots going on.
Get it out of the way.
And
this story, Alex, I was reading it actually. We'll go into it, I suppose. It's the one in the universities, yeah?
Yeah.
So British universities, I mean, it's from the Metro, so take it as you will. The British universities have warned students to prepare for a much tamer Freshers Week. Freshers Week, do they call it that now? Is that what they call it in the UK now?
Freshers Week, and Freshers Week gives you the freshest.
Another Americanism. God.
Yeah.
So a much tamer Freshers Week during the pandemic, leaving them no room for drunken debauchery. In a bid to stop the spread of coronavirus, universities across the UK will confine social interactions to one household or one social bubble, meaning students will be banned from throwing wild parties or having sex with people they don't live with. So I read that and I thought, how are they going to police that?
It's against human rights. They can't. They literally can't. They can't be like, you know that girl you're in love with, and you've been. I suppose that's different. You're part of.
Yeah, I think they're talking about people that they don't know. So
yeah, but I mean, even if somebody wants to throw a 10-man orgy at the house, they can't stop them. It's against. It's
well, I think
right.
they could do it on their premises, maybe if the students are staying on uni premises. But what if you're staying in a house outside the university? I mean, when I went to college, I didn't stay in the university premises. They were horrible, so I lodged, and I actually, for a while, did live with my girlfriend at the student accommodation outside of the uni. So how are they going to stop people who've got their own places? What if they're a local student, or what if a local student says, hey, freshers, first years, whatever, come to my place. They've got these stupid rules over there. We're having it because you know what they're like. They'll get around it, won't they?
Yeah, and this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, I where I grew up, where I lived for a while in Wrexham, was right where all the student accommodation was for Glendower. That was there.
I went to college in Wrexham myself.
They've got like proper student unions. They've got bars they all like to go to. It's the party scene there. Like
it's a great life. Yeah, I had a great time.
I lived a freshers year without actually going to university because I was just friends with a lot of the freshers. I didn't go to university, but I knew this guy that was about 6'10". They call him Swampy. A big, tall guy with a big beard, and he worked behind the bar of the student union. And no one's going to argue with him. So when he says I can go in the fucking student union, I'm going in the student union. It says here that Freshers Week generally takes place in mid-September and sees thousands of new students take part in events designed to settle them into their new surroundings. It is seen as a rite of passage for many students, particularly those who find new freedom away from home. But students caught up flouting their new COVID-19 restrictions face hefty fines. That's great for students, and that's exactly what they need. The Sunday Times reported Higher Education Policy Institute Director Nick Hillman said Freshers Week is going to look very different, but praised universities for doing the right thing. I love this.
Sorry, go on, mate.
I was going to say his quote here says this will clearly make having close student friendships and intimate relationships difficult. You think?
Yeah. Well, it'll make it difficult, but it ain't going to stop them. I think maybe they might be doing students a discredit as well in some cases because, they're not stupid. They could still take precautions with COVID-19 and still, do what they want to do. I think this blanket sort of ban, it's just going to cause problems. It's just going to mean there's going to be a lot of paperwork with students getting fined for things. Yeah. Whereas really it should be like, look, guys, just use a bit of common sense, And I think most will,
I think students are treated like shit in this country. They really are. They're legit. They're the future. They're the guys that are going to be running the country in a few years.
Yeah. Well, there's always. I mean, I remember when I was a student in Wrexham. There used to be a pub. I think it was called. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called the Robin Hood, and they had a sign at the front: "No students."
Yeah,
right? They didn't like students. I mean, I don't know if that would even be allowed now. I guess it is, but I remember going in there with my girlfriend at the time. Obviously, we don't have a badge saying student, so we just went in thinking, "Oh, they won't know we're students." We've lived here for 3 years. They must think we're local by now. My girlfriend was Welsh, so we went in, we sat down, and the guy came up and said, "You're going to have to go." It's like, why? He goes, "No students." So we're not a student. Yeah, you are. Go on.
could smell it on you.
Yeah, man. It's just unreal. I don't know if it was like roughly translated into no English people, but you know.
Yeah, that is an issue. That is an issue as well. I mean, I lived in Wrexham for many years. Being an English guy, I got so much shit for that, you know. But genuinely, like, people wouldn't really like when all the Black Lives Matter stuff was happening. I used my experiences of being an Englishman in Wales as a way to bridge the gap, as a way to like
try and understand being a minority.
People will look at that and laugh, and I'll be like, "You don't
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it isn't the same, but I do think there is merit to that because, you know, obviously you are a minority in certain places. You know, it's very different because they don't know until you open your mouth. You know, but yeah, the way you're treated, and it does give you a sense of like, well, why? What have I done? I can't help where I was born.
Exactly.
You know, and that's, you know, imagine being all the time omnipresent because of the colour of your skin.
Exactly.
So it's like that times 10, isn't it? You know, that you can only imagine, really.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how empathy works. Okay, like that's literally. If you look up the definition of empathy, that's exactly what it would say. So, I mean, most of our listeners are good people, but it says here the University of West England and in Bristol said there will be no unacceptable behaviour on its campus. Fines will be issued. Overnight guests have all been banned by the University of East Anglia, while students at University College London and Cambridge have prohibited parties and overnight stays. No partying. That's
just taking away student life, isn't it? Basically,
I was going to say that's your initiation.
Yeah,
that's what you know. You've worked hard at school and college. Yeah. You've got those degrees. You're like, yes, uni, here we come.
They'll find a way. They'll find a way. Like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, man. Life finds a way.
I love that.
They will find a way. And, you know, I think it's actually maybe making it worse by having these strict rules. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, you know. But, yeah, I feel for them because obviously they have got to behave differently. And it is like taking away an important part of their sort of educational life, if you like. But everybody's had to make sacrifices, haven't they?
Well, Shrewsbury's full of young, entitled people that seem to be have a carefree approach to.
You've just wiped out half of our listenership.
I like it though. I mean, I've been looking. I've been looking at things a lot differently lately. You know, especially learning a lot about the history of Shrewsbury. When you talk about Butchers Row and you talk about some of the actual genuine. Documented history, like young people getting fucked up and having a good time is not a new problem. It's something that we've done for generations and generations. And
it's to be expected, isn't it? You know, so being young, making mistakes.
When I'm saying there's young, carefree people that don't give a fuck about COVID and they don't give a shit about your self-isolation moves, you know, whatever. That's just normal. It's not like it's something we can. Yeah.
That's young people. You know, the most, not all. You know, but there are probably a large percentage of young people who just exist in a bubble and pretty much only think of themselves. They're still developing their empathy, as we talked about, their responsibility. These are all things that come, you know, a little bit later in life. You could argue that once they're over 18, they should know better. But did we? You know, arguably... Well,
this is a new generation. This is the uber millennial, like, because a lot of millennials got to go back at home. When things got shit, you know, when the financial bubble burst in 2008, and there's a lot of people just going out into university and stuff. People are like, oh, I'm going to come move back in. Whereas this new generation, they've kind of been at home. They haven't even moved out yet.
No,
they haven't had to deal with problems by themselves. So any fines that they get for littering or drinking in public or breaking social distancing rules will just go back to mum and daddy.
Oh, of course they will, for the most part.
We don't know what's going to happen in a few years down the line. But as far as empathy,
that's why I think the fines maybe aren't a good idea as well, because it's only going to affect those not so wealthy students who, you know, can't go back to mum and dad.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
They're the ones who are going to feel that. The others will just go, "Oh, mum, I've had this fine for £100. Can you pay it for me?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to affect them, is it? They're not going to be deterred either. You know,
What we need to be is as carefree as an old German dude, naked, running through a park, chasing after a boar. What is it with it's always Germans. It was German Fox last week stealing flip flops. This is a funny story.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I delivered this one, didn't I, Alex?
I think you did. Yeah, it wasn't me.
Do you know, I saw it. I didn't read it. I just saw it and thought, that's bizarre. That's got to go into the weekly bazaar. I mean, there's not a lot to it, but just the picture. I mean, I don't know if you can put the picture on the Facebook so people can see it, because it is a great picture of this boar running off with this guy's laptop. I mean, it's a very discerning boar. He knew to go for the laptop and not the picnic.
I saw this on Facebook. I wouldn't share on Facebook because me and Facebook aren't friends at the moment. I'm treading thin ice with them, to be honest. But you can definitely see it on Facebook. And I think it's got a genuine meme goldness to it. You can always add some sort of text there where the boar is.
Yeah.
And,
it's crying out for a caption, isn't it? It
absolutely.
Really is. It really is.
So, of course, this is a nudist beaver who chased a wild boar near a Berlin lake after it stole his laptop, was applauded by onlookers after a successful pursuit. The photographer who captured the drama said the unidentified nudist was happy for her to share the images, which show him in bare-bottom pursuit of the boar and her two piglets, while fellow beavers look on in amusement. So I thought this was like a nudist camp, but it's not. It's just a...
No, he's just a nudist. I mean, everyone else is dressed. You know, they're all. I mean, okay, some people have only got trunks on or whatever, but yeah, they're no. I can't see any other naked people. He's just, nude. I assume that he was like sort of in a secluded area. Yeah. Thought that no one was going to know.
Just imagine if you're walking through the quarry looking like that, you're going to get battered.
And all I'm thinking is like, what's on that laptop? It must be something pretty damning for him to run through a park naked to get it off a wild boar. He must be like, home porn or something like that.
To be fair, like a lot, the information that's on my laptop is worth more than the laptop itself. Like I had the issue with the Weekly Bazaar week 17. It was on my hard. So what I did was I backed up everything. I always back it up. I threw the episode 17 on before I could release it. I was like, fuck. Oh man, when I went to work and I was kind of like, now's the time to release it. I was like, what did I do with my hard drive? That's it. That's the dangerous thing. I mean, I'd probably run naked after my hard drive if someone stole it as well. To be fair, it's got my whole life on it. This is funny. This is that moment where you make that split decision: do you or don't you? And he thought, "Fuck it, I'm going for this boar." Yeah,
he's obviously a well-humoured guy, you know. I mean, because the article was written, "Nature strikes back." She said, "I showed the man the photos. He laughed heartily and gave me permission to make them public." So this guy, he's one of those Germans who's just like doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Obviously got a really good sense of humour. The man was sunbathing naked at the I can't say this. Tufalessi, is it?
Tufalessi, yeah, whatever.
Tufalessi in West Berlin, a popular and perfectly legal practice in the German capital, as part of what is known as FKK, or a word that I'm not even going to try and fucking say.
I'm going to try it.
Go on.
Freikörperkultur.
Oh yeah, Freikörperkultur. It's basically free body culture. I love the German language. I love the way that every word is just made up of the words that it means. They don't abbreviate. There's no replacement. They just say the whole thing.
It's like I always remember when we learned that in school that there's a file called a bastard file, and we'd always go. And you'd be reading the book, and you would use the bastard file. Oh yeah. So this must be a nudist area then. It must be like an area where they don't care.
Well, it seems like as part of this time, free body culture period, and in that area, they don't. Yeah, it's totally legal and they don't mind. So I suppose people are used to seeing people, naked, but they're
Break
probably
the
not
old
used to
naked
seeing them
geese.
running after a boar. So the wild boar sightings, of which have become increasingly common, had apparently spotted a pizza being eaten by other bathers. It seized a yellow bag containing the man's laptop, probably believing it to contain food, and was chased by the man into the undergrowth. Because the bag contained his laptop, he gave it his all, even though he was in his birthday suit. Oh, the boar's flight was slowed by a cardboard box in its path. The man clapped his hands and hit the ground with the stick, prompting the boar to drop the laptop. I think he was lucky there, wasn't he? Because he could have just held on for dear life.
Well, the boar could have turned around and fucked him up. Boars are nasty. They're nasty.
Yeah. There's no one seen Game of Thrones,
yeah, they're strong. Nasty things, yeah.
Yeah, they can be quite aggressive. I think depends how you catch them as well, doesn't it? Like if you catch a male boar sort of unawares, he might turn on you, and they're quite big. And they've got those, like, some of them have got like tusks, haven't they?
Yeah, big tusks. Yeah, they're aggressive. They're quite aggressive.
Yeah, but there you go.
Yeah.
That's the less said about that one, the better, probably. So go on, Alex. You got another story for us?
Yeah. Well, moving on. We'll carry on with the indecency, we weren't going to cover this story if Lucy was going to be on, but I wanted to talk about it anyway, because she said she couldn't do the story because she get angry about it. I'm going to do it in honor of Lucy, actually, and this is from the Sun. We love the Sun, don't we, motherfuckers? Urgent drop off. Of course, the Sun would start this with urgent drop-off.
That is a great headline, to be fair.
It is. Woman horrified to find Amazon delivery guy taking a poo in her garden. It says a woman has revealed her shock after spotting an Amazon delivery driver taking a shit in her garden. NHS counsellor Sharon Smith, 53, was cooking in her kitchen in Nuttall in Nottingham. I love that Nuttall. Sorry. On July 26th, when a van pulled up outside her home, a man ran from the vehicle into her garden, and Sharon followed him, fearing he was stealing from her. The mum of two then caught the man squatting among the trees and pooing on her property. Oh. Sharon says after asking him to leave, she called the police. She said the man turned out to be an Amazon driver who went on to deliver a parcel to one of Sharon's neighbours without washing his hands.
Oh, no. Oh, that's grim.
Police attended the scene and questioned the delivery driver, who claimed he was desperate for the loo. He said he was not feeling well and he did not realise the grounds were part of a private garden. The decision was made not to arrest the Amazon driver employee on the condition that he would clean up the mess and his employee would be notified of the incident. And the employees will be fined £10 billion for the mistreatment of workers because they don't get enough time to use the ablutions whilst they're working and they don't get enough time for breaks. It has been cleared by governments worldwide. Bezos is going to get a bill. They're going to start treating their employees fairly, and they're going to start giving them time to use the toilet and not have to rush around like fucking madheads.
Yeah, I think that's the side of this story that needs to be highlighted, isn't it? It's like, how is a guy so desperate for a break that he needs to take a shit in someone's garden? I mean, arguably, he could have like knocked on someone's door and said, "Sorry, I'm an Amazon driver." But most people are going to say, "Fuck off! You're not shitting in my loo. I don't know you." Yeah. So you can sort of understand his desperation, can't you? He's not been able to take a break. Let's fine Amazon for this and not.
Of course, all those bits that sounded like I was carrying on reading, I added on. Like this is the problem: is that the Amazon drivers, and not just Amazon. You know, Amazon's got a model that's successful for a lot of companies to make money and not really give a shit about the environment, about the drivers, and even about. I mean, look at the delivery. This he was going to go carry on to delivering boxes that he wiped his ass with.
Yeah. What did he wipe his ass with? You know, it's got
to be a dock leaf. Dock leafs are the best.
Dock leaf, or just some packaging. You know, I mean, it doesn't bear thinking about, does it? That someone's in such a desperate situation because they haven't got time to take a break. You know, I mean, I'm sure they've probably bloody fired him. You know, but they're the ones at fault for him being in that situation. From what I could tell from the story in front of us.
Yeah, an interesting an interesting subject because I feel like what Amazon do is borderline slavery. Sounds daft,
It's
but
not far off. It's not far off, is it?
it's inhumane. Um, and okay, moving on with COVID, I just had this story genuinely just came up, popped up on my thing. Breaking
story.
news from the Metro. It says beachgoers. I'll send you the link for this story. It says
Right.
Beachgoers smash each other with sunbeds and umbrellas in huge brawl.
Is this in Bournemouth? Did you say?
Hold on, let's send this to you. This is very. We don't normally do this on the Weekly Bizarre, gentlemen. This is unprecedented.
Yeah. So it's only going to be a week old.
No, this is in Belgium. Umbrellas
right.
and sunbeds were used as weapons during a massive brawl on the beach as anger boiled over after a baking hot day. I mean, Belgium's only across the way from us. We had hot weather, so they probably had it too. The Belgian town of Blankenberg, near Bruges. Been to Bruges, nice. Had been closed off to tourists after the fight, which brought total chaos to the seaside resort. The scrap started yesterday when a lifeguard told a group of around 40 young people to move from the breakwater wall on the beach. The Brussels Times reports. So the police were called after the group reportedly refused to leave. This led to violent clashes between beachgoers in their swimsuits and the police wielding batons and wearing face masks. Just as we were praising young people.
I mean, why? Well, I don't get it. Why were they so angry about? It's. I mean, obviously we're not seeing the whole story here. So dramatic footage shared online showed one man chucking an umbrella at lines of officers and another throwing a plastic chair into the crowd. Describing the incident, a bar manager told Belgium newspaper De Standaard there was suddenly massive fighting and total chaos broke out. Sun umbrellas and sunbeds flew, windsurfing poles were used as weapons. I mean, that's serious. Sand was also thrown at police as they tried to clear the area. A number of people have reportedly been arrested. The town is a popular destination for both Belgian and international tourists. Its mayor, Daphne Dumery, condemned the violence. She said, "I think this is terrible for people who come with good intention and want to enjoy a day in Blankenberg. This is very bad. I think of children and their parents." It comes as Belgium experiences an extreme heat wave, which has led the country to be put under a code red warning. Temperatures have risen to 37 degrees Celsius over the course of the weekend. I mean, obviously, people have just got a short fuse. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, for that many people to kick off just because they've been asked to move.
I've just watched the video as well, and it's fucking horrendous. Yeah. It's horrendous. The police have no organisation whatsoever. I mean, you see, when there's like a riot...
We weren't expecting it, mate.
Oh, yeah.
Do you expect people to kick off? Yeah. Can you move, please? Why? It's just fucking move.
It's hard to police somewhere like Belgium as well because it's got so many connections. It's connected to so many countries. People come and go all the time. So no wonder there's such a problem there because they get cargo in from the UK, they get people going up to Netherlands or upwards, they got people going to France, further into Europe. It's just an absolute highway of just people traffic. Yeah, it's a nightmare. Horrendous sort of shit out Belgium. And I wanted to cover this story because it's really important for me to talk about it because I feel like there's something underlying here that we need to get to the bottom of. And now I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I mean, I'll look at things sometimes and be like, whoa, I watched that Jeffrey Epstein shit and that's just crazy. The amount of power those people have. But there's this doll that's been released. It's a Trolls doll. And it's been pulled from shelves recently. I watched a video that got sent to me by a friend. This Trolls doll, it's almost like they secretly put this thing in this doll to teach kids a very dark, horrible lesson. And I don't know who's responsible for making it, but someone needs to go to jail, I believe. So it says, I believe so. A mother from the US said that she found the toy gasping and sounds of gasping sounds so disturbed. What, that doesn't make sense.
Is it intentional, do you think? Or do you
think so. If you see the video for this doll,
I've got to read it.
The video is just unbelievable. The troll dolls have been pulled from shelves after a disgusting mother shared a video of it making sexual sounds when a button on its privates was pressed.
Oh, yeah.
And she does. I've seen the video. She goes, "Oh, ah," little giggles and stuff. Like it says, press my. There's an arrow. It says, press my belly to make sounds. There is no button on her belly.
Yeah.
It's literally put on her privates. It's lit but you can see the picture there. The unnamed woman from the US explained how the Hasbro Trolls World Tour Giggle and Sing Poppy doll has been bought for her 2-year-old daughter for her birthday, but she was horrified to discover it made gasping noises when a button between its legs was pressed and branded the toy disturbing.
I think if the button had been on her foot, or her belly, like you say, the noises might have been interpreted as innocent. Yeah. And I don't know if it's intentional. Maybe it's just really ill-advised design. Maybe they didn't think about the location of the button, and then the combination of the location and the noises, and then the whole context of the noises is changed from like a tickle reaction to something sexual. And I think it's either something, like you say, very dark that needs to be looked into, or it's just a real bad gaff. Either way, it's pretty bad, isn't it?
It needs to be taken off the shelf. And it normalizes it. I mean, if you think about it, it teaches young children to think that's fun. And
but it could be done that. It could be interpreted that way. And what effect is it going to have on kids? God damn it.
It's up to DreamWorks to have more control over what they're releasing out there with their license on it.
Is it DreamWorks? It's Hasbro, isn't it?
Hasbro, and the film is DreamWorks. I think
Hasbro own the right. It's Hasbro property, though, I think.
Oh, shit, yeah, because it's Trolls, isn't it? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and DreamWorks probably have a license to make movies of it.
Yeah,
I would say it's probably a Hasbro. I mean, it's a gaff, I would say. A really bad one.
It's fucking Hasbro as well, man. They're like the daddy of toys, aren't they? They're like, does it get bigger than Hasbro?
I mean, Transformers was Hasbro, wasn't it? So much came out of Hasbro.
I mean, I think it's this scenario where Karens come in. We need people like
we need Karens.
We do need Karens in some circumstances, because the doll's now been removed from sale after another mother started an online change.org petition. That's a very Karen thing to do, but I'm glad you did it. Calling it for it to be taken out of our stores, accusing it of condoning paedophilia. Writing on the petition page, which has attracted over 250,000 signatures, Jessica raged, our society is conditioning our children to think paedophilia is okay. This Trolls World Tour doll named Poppy has a button on a private area under a skip.
Can we play the sound? I'm going to try and play just so people can get a context of it.
My daughter's birthday a couple days ago, and she turned 2, and she was given this gift. It's like a little Poppy doll. It's adorable. And here's the box. So she had a Poppy birthday.
Let's see if I can get the noise.
So, I mean, she does all that. You touch her tummy, and she makes little singing sounds, and she's super cute. Well, I was showing her to my husband, and I heard some other sounds that I had never heard before. And if you look down here, I figured a video was the best way. So I just touched her tummy, and she's going to sing for a minute. But
so
down here is a button right here on her privates. And if you push those, she makes these sounds. Like a gasping sound.
Yeah, that's a bit.
And I know.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I can see how that can be translated like that. It's a little bit risque, isn't it?
When there's a button on her stomach that makes one sound and then a button underneath that makes a different sound, this is fucking wrong. Somebody needs to not.
I mean, why? What were they thinking? Why have they put it there?
I do think this is I can't help but think that this is an attempt at normalizing atrocious behavior.
It's hard to imagine that, though, isn't it? It's hard to imagine that somewhere within Hasbro there is a group of people that are trying to, put this out there, and that Hasbro have let it happen. It's almost inconceivable, really.
Yeah, it is. And I would hate to think that. I mean, I'm part of the Hasbro universe. I'm on a Monopoly board.
Is that Hasbro? Is Monopoly Hasbro?
Yeah, it is now.
I thought it was. They buy Waddingtons, did they?
They bought Waddingtons as part of Hasbro now.
Right.
But yeah, this is a strange one. It's going to get pulled down now. But parents, be vigilant. Keep an eye on what toys you're buying your kids. Let's move on to more exciting and what's the word? Positive news. Murder hornets.
Yes, they're positive. I'm fascinated by these creatures, actually.
Oh my God, I've been watching videos of them. They are terrifying. Yeah. Absolutely terrifying. Oh my God.
The picture, I mean, check it out on the Facebook, guys. I'm sure Alex will share something. This guy, this hornet, man. I mean, I know we shouldn't anthropomorphize animals or insects, but he looks well angry, doesn't he?
He's got like an Earthworm Jim type sort of scowl thing going on,
It looks like he's just permanently angry. It's like, oh, who am I going to get next?
You're all going to die.
And they are big, these guys. They're big hornets, aren't they?
They are. I think the problem is that they're not well. Well, we know what America's like when anybody doesn't belong there. They're kind of like, you need to go. But these things could have a dramatic effect on the ecosystem. I mean, that's the issue.
Because they're going to kill off like bees and things like that. Maybe I don't know what their life cycle is, but there's a chance that they could really dramatically affect the indigenous insect population.
We've been threatened with these for a while as well, haven't we? There've been murmurs of this on Facebook, but now they've found one. They've actually found one. It says the world's largest species of hornet invaded Washington State in December. Now, 7 months later, state officials have finally managed to catch one of these little bastards. It says on the hornet, but they have less than 2 months to catch the rest before mating season begins. And the species has a chance to grow.
What, they're going to try and catch them all? Well, there could be thousands of them.
They're fucking Pokemon.
Murder hornet, catch them all. That's crazy. God, sorry, carry on.
It's all right. The Washington State Department of Agriculture announced on Friday that it captured its first Asian giant hornet on July 14th. In a bottle trap near Birch Bay in Whatcom County. A lab confirmed the hornet as part of the invasive species on July 29th. This was the first time the state found a murder hornet. I just love the name, murder hornet. It's a twat.
Yeah, it's slang, isn't it? It's not called that, really, is it?
In a trap rather than in the environment. The WSDA press release said there have been 5 prior confirmed sightings of the hornet in the state. Sven Spicher, managing and Spicher. I think that was right. That was fine.
Spicher.
Yeah. Managing entomologist. There you go. Oh, fuck's sake. For the State Department said the finding is encouraging because they now know the traps work. So
yeah. But it also means we have work to do. So yeah, I mean, Washington officials are racing against the clock to find the rest of the hornets and eradicate them from the state before the hornets start to reproduce. Around mid-September, the queens will mate with male hornets and start reproducing new queens and workers, the department said. Destroying the nest before new queens emerge and mate will prevent the spread of this invasive pest. Officials are now using infrared cameras and placing additional traps to catch live hornets. They then plan to tag the hornets and track them back to their colony so that the entire colony can be destroyed. And that makes more sense because if they can find the nests and they can get rid of the nests, then they can eradicate a larger swathe of the population. I suppose the other argument, though, is that we talk about them, interfering. I'm going to get a bit deep here, so bear with me. we're talking about them being a pest and interfering with the local insect populations or whatever. But if if we really want to be in harmony with nature, surely this hornet has naturally migrated to the US and now is finding a new habitat. You know, if you look at it in that way, doesn't the hornet have a right to live there just as much as people have a right to live there? Shouldn't we learn to live with our hornet brothers? You know, I'm semi-serious here. Should they be eradicated? Are they that much of a pest that we can't live with them?
It depends on how they've it depends on how they've migrated. If they've literally just flown here, then what right have you got to say? If it's been brought in through packaging or something, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, have we brought them, you know, as human beings brought them over? So have they been introduced to the environment, you know, in a non-natural way? You could say, yeah, they need to be removed. If they've naturally migrated,
these fucking things. If these fuckers turned up in the UK, if I saw, I would want to murder every. They're massive.
That big. Yeah, they're big. I seen them in where was I? I can't remember where I was. I travelled somewhere and I've seen them, and they are big and they're quite scary. You know, they are quite scary because of their size and the noise they make. They make a bit of a noise. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm taking a picture of one now to send to you because it's easier than doing the screenshot.
Yeah.
It says here, this picture I'm sending you now, this photo from Nagano, Japan shows two Asian giant hornets hunting. When these insects decide to swarm a beehive, they can lay waste to tens of thousands of bees within just a few hours. They can literally decimate.
Yeah. I mean, that is the main concern, isn't it? The threat to the bees. Because bees are essential pollinators.
Yeah.
I don't know if these guys pollinate. I don't know if you know, are hornets as effective a pollinator as bees? You know, I don't know. But they do. Yeah, I mean, hornets are known, aren't they, for destroying bees?
I saw them. I saw one at the front of a hive earlier when I was researching these, and he's literally gobbling up bees. He's literally like, nom, 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 and he's like grabbing them all and eating them as he's going along. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Aggressive as hell in the insect world, aren't they? An impressive predator, an impressive animal, and you know, I don't know. I admire animals like this. You see, I really like them. I think they're where they are on the food chain because of how they've evolved, and you know, I love them. I think they're fascinating. So, does their threat outweigh their beauty? You know, I don't know.
I think in this current day and age, I think we've got to be smart. We've got to be smart, and we've got to think about what's going on because the bees are a threat at the moment. So
they are under threat. Yeah. I mean, bees. We need to protect our bees. No getting out of that. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the final segment of the show, and that's Science with Al. Yeah.
Science with Alex.
He's not a racist. I like that.
Oh, dear.
Okay.
It's always a great story.
Yeah, I love this. When I do actively look for science stories, there seems to be a lot going on with space at the moment. There seems to be this incredible race to Mars at the moment. Everyone's just like, we need to get stuff on Mars now. As soon as the Mars rovers sending back amazing imagery that it is now, I think the Emirates have sent something up. Russia are sending something up. Japan, China are sending things up. It's just incredible. I think even Europe, we've sent something up, haven't we?
Yeah, everyone's at it. But I mean, I don't know this site, TNW. Where's that from?
No idea. TNW, get in touch. Let us know who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to the source because there's a certain element to this story that I find interesting. Do you want to read it, Alex?
Yeah, I can do. It says China recently launched this Tianwen-1. That's literally how it is. Mission to Mars. A rocket holding an orbiter, lander, and rover took flight from the country's Hainan province, which hopes to deploy the rover on Mars surface by early next year. Similarly, the launch of the Emirates Mars mission marks the Arabs' first foray into the interplanetary space travel. On July 30th, we saw NASA's Mars Perseverance rover finally take off from Florida. For many nations and their people, space is becoming the ultimate frontier. But although we're gaining the ability to travel smarter and faster into space, much remains unknown about the effects of biological substances, including us. While the possibilities of space exploration seem endless, so are its dangers, and one particular danger comes from the smallest life forms on Earth, and that's bacteria. Bacteria live within us and all around us, so whether we like it or not, these microscopic organisms tag along wherever we go, including into space. Just as space's unique environment has the impact on us, so too does the impact on bacteria. So the idea is that we don't know what happens to bacteria when it's floating around in space, or how it evolves, what the effects of the space environment has on it.
Yeah, because it goes on to say all life on Earth evolved with gravity as an ever-present force. Thus, Earth's life has not been adapted to spend time in space. When gravity is removed or greatly reduced, processes influenced by gravity behave differently as well. In space, where there is a minimal gravity, sedimentation, when solids in a liquid settle to the bottom, convection, the transfer of heat energy, and buoyancy, the force that makes certain objects float, are minimized. Similarly, forces such as liquid, surface tension, and capillary forces, when a liquid flows to fill a narrow space, become more intense. It's not yet fully understood how such changes impact life forms. So it says here how bacteria become more deadly in space, which is the element that I think probably drew you to it, wasn't it, Alex?
It's more okay. So the way I'm looking at this at the moment is there's lots of talk about Russia weaponizing space, and this kind of this language that people are talking about at the moment. And I wanted to look at all aspects of it. And bacteria and diseases is a very effective way of controlling things. So this is why I was like, oh, okay.
So you're thinking germ warfare, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's plausible. I think it's they're using those rods, aren't they? Those rods are like the biggest threat from space. If you fire those giant rods from outer space, they can literally obliterate towns. And I think that is why Donald Trump wants to create a space force. I think people laughed and sniggered at that, but I actually think that was probably one of the best things he's ever said and done. I think so, because what's to say Russia doesn't just throw some big ass, nasty ass space station with weaponry and be like, space is ours.
I think it's the old adage, isn't it? It's the old adage, isn't it? You can either look at things from that point of view, or you can look at things from another point of view. I think to instantly see space as a militarized zone, take away what it is, which is, unexplored, free space.
Yeah, but this is I honestly don't put it past human beings to be like, this is a toll bridge now. You have to we charge you to go into space.
Well, people take
a slice of land, and they're like, to get from this side to the other side, you need to pay me £5. There you go.
Yeah. It's part of the human condition, isn't it? Paranoia, fear, mistrust. I find it very sad, to be honest. But that's the way, as a whole, humanity tends to exist.
But we can't just go, oh yeah, Russia, horrible bastards. We need to look at it. And I read this story and I'm kind of like, yeah, because it says here, worryingly, research from spaceflight missions has shown bacteria become more deadly and resilient when exposed to microgravity, when only tiny gravitational forces are present. In space, bacteria seem to become more resistant to antibiotics and more lethal. They also stay this way for a short time after returning to Earth, compared to with bacteria that never left Earth. Adding to that, bacteria also seem to mutate quicker in space. However, these mutations are predominantly for the bacteria to adapt to the new environment, not to become more super deadly. More research is needed to examine whether such adaptations do, in fact, allow the bacteria to cause more disease. Now, we know that in this, they take strange inanimate or strange objects up to the International Space Station. So they'll take potatoes and they'll take samples of this and samples of that, grains of rice, things like that, and then they'll do tests on it. And this is the reason why.
I mean, it says research has shown space's microgravity promotes biofilm formation in bacteria.
Wow.
I'm quite familiar with biofilms, actually, because that's something I've dealt with on Earth as well, because in my job as a microbiologist, we have issues, certain environments where biofilms will form to protect bacteria so that it can survive. And it sort of makes sense, really, that in a place where it's harder for the bacteria to thrive, it's going to adapt. And it does adapt really quickly. And some of that may mean that it becomes more deadly. But I think it's a bit of a leap to say that it's going to become dangerous. But it makes sense as it adapts. And then when it returns to Earth, it'll readapt for that environment. And also a lot of bacteria that goes into space inside of us or on us.
Yeah.
So it's still it's still living as a host, but we're still hosting it. So it's still adapted to live in us, you know. So the bacteria that live inside us, it's very unlikely that that's then going to change into something else because it's still being supported by us as an organism, you know. I think if it's out there and it's put into a situation where it has to adapt to a whole new environment, then you will see different types of mutation. That would make sense.
It's the same as like when you have porridge and it creates like that skin shit over the top, you know.
That's a classic Science with Alex comment, that is.
yeah, you know, when you get
porridge skin. Porridge skin is like a biofilm. I like it.
There you go. It's a good analogy, I guess.
But biofilms do increase bacteria's resistance to antibiotics, promote their survival, and improve their ability to cause infection. We have seen biofilms grow and attach to equipment on space stations, causing it to biodegrade. So that's quite interesting. It's created a biofilm in space. That's incredible, isn't it? How a bacteria can do that. We can't do that. We can't use our bodies to reproduce and then create an environment that we can survive in space. There's no way in a million years, maybe in a million years, we'll be able to do it.
We can't be like, oh my God, I can't breathe.
We just die.
Biospacesuit. Yeah.
But bacteria, they can create a biofilm, over generations of reproduction. Because they reproduce so quickly, it's just incredible. You've got to admire these guys.
It says here, for example, biofilms have films. We said it a million times. Biofilms have affected the Mir space station.
Mir.
Is it Mir? I always struggle with that one. The Mir space station. Navigation window, air conditioning, oxygen electrolysis block, water recycling unit, and thermal control system. The prolonged exposure of such equipment to biofilms can lead to malfunction, which have devastating effects. I never thought this would be a problem. And this is the thing, isn't it?
People forget that, when you go into space, the problems aren't just about stuff flying at you. It's what you take with you as well.
That's unbelievable. That's crazy. Another effect of microgravity on bacteria involves their structural distortion. Certain bacteria have shown reductions in cell size and increases in cell size and increases in cell numbers when grown in microgravity. In the case of the former, bacteria cells with smaller surface areas have fewer molecule cell interactions, and this reduces the effectiveness of antibiotics against them. So effectively, a cold could kill you in space.
Well, yeah. That's one way. Yeah, well, a cold isn't a bacteria, is it?
Well,
it's a virus. It's a virus.
But I mean, they're testing on these things all the time. But this is the thing, though, isn't it? When you're sending someone, on possibly a 2-year journey from Earth to Mars or something, and one of them contracts a bacterial infection, what happens then?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It could behave, are there bacteria on Mars? They've not found any yet. But any bacteria that are on Mars, if they come into contact with it, could have devastating effects. Absolutely devastating effects. If these could be dormant bacteria that have spore formed and they're just sitting there dormant, over thousands of years, and I mean, we're getting into a bit of the realms of science fiction here, but
it's not though.
It could happen. It could happen. It could happen.
Tablets and touchscreen was something that was make believe in Star Trek Next Generation, and it became to happen because people wanted it. Can we skip to the end bit, because I found this super fascinating? I like to read the whole article, but we don't have time. On the other hand, the effects of space also result in unique environment. In a unique environment, should I say, that can be positive for life on Earth. For example, molecular crystals in space, microgravity grow much larger and more symmetrically than on Earth. Having more uniform crystals allows the formulation of more effective drugs and treatments to combat various diseases, including cancers and Parkinson's disease. Also, the crystallization of molecules helps determine their precise structures. Many molecules cannot be crystallized on Earth, but can be in space. So the structure of more of such molecules can be determined with the help of space research. This too would aid in the development of higher quality drugs. Optical fiber cables can also be made to a much better standard in space due to the optimal formation of crystals. This greatly increases the data transmission capacity, making networking and telecommunications faster. As humans spend more time in space, an environment riddled with known and unknown dangers, further research will help us thoroughly examine the risks and potential benefits of space-unique environment. It says this article was published from the Conversation by Vikrant Minas, PhD candidate, University Adelaide, under the Creative Commons license.
Excellent. That was a great article, Alex. Thanks for bringing that in, man.
No, I liked it. I really liked it because it throws you a negative and it throws you a positive too.
Well, it shows you that all the risks and dangers and adversity, it's worth it if we can, gain something from being in space. And I think overall, the whole idea of us being able to colonize space is it's essential for us, isn't it, as a species?
The fact that one day we might have a space hospital. Can you imagine that? A space hospital where they send people up to cure them from Alzheimer's? That's
a pretty cool idea, isn't it? I mean, if I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a series on Amazon Prime. I have no shares in Amazon Prime. I am just like the series called The Expanse. I don't know if you've seen that.
I started it when it was on Netflix.
Is it Netflix?
It was
Sorry.
No.
Sorry, Netflix.
No, it went. I don't know where it is at the moment because it was Netflix. It started off really well. Then it went to Sci-Fi. Right. And then there was a weird thing between Sci-Fi and I don't know. It just took a weird thing because.
I see. And then it just ended up getting licensed out to.
When it went to Sci-Fi, I was like, "Fuck that!" Like Sci-Fi,
But it's a great series, and it's not totally accurate, but it really does show the dangers of sort of space travel in a society where it's not like Star Trek where everything's been thought of. It's a little bit more Wild West.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it.
There you go. It's gone.
All of the problems have not been solved. All the medical problems, all the dangers of going into it shows space to be a very, very dangerous place. And it also shows humanity to be a very, very dangerous species. And it's a good show. It's a good show. I
shared a really deep, meaningful, but very simple meme last week, and it was literally Shaggy lying on top of the mystery machine. And it says humans. If Scooby-Doo's taught us one thing, is that humans are the things to be scared of.
I like that. Yeah. Yes, very good. Because it's always a human, isn't it? It's never a real monster.
Those pesky kids.
What gets me is after all those years of unmasking all these fake monsters, you'd think after about 20 years of it, Fred and Wilma and all that, I'd be like, yeah, we know it's fake.
Yeah.
But they always fall for it, don't they? They always fall for it. They always think it's a real ghost or a real werewolf. It's like, it's obviously a teacher in a suit.
That's why I like that one film where they did actually release the ghosts and actual people, they made them. Because then it was just like, ha ha, it's a man in a sheet, and it's like, oh.
It's not. Yeah, it was a good play on it. Yeah.
Have you seen the? I know it's probably not done yet. Have you seen the new Scooby-Doo animated movie?
Scoob, I think it's called, isn't it? No, I haven't yet. No.
I would watch it.
Is it good?
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Especially if you like nostalgia and you want to be sent back to because there's a lot of they've literally created a Hanna-Barbera movie universe. It's amazing.
Fantastic. I'll have to check that out. If you're talking nostalgia, though, have you seen the new Transformers animated show?
I started watching it yesterday. I was going to talk about it on What's the Difference, but I was sat with the wife and I was enjoying it. I was really enjoying it. I was like in geek heaven.
Oh, it's brilliant.
My wife was like.
Well, she didn't grow up with it. She's not. It's pure nostalgia. I mean, it's great storytelling, great writing, and reasonably good animation. But if you're a Transformers fan who read the comics and all that sort of stuff, watched the TV series, the animated movie, and you were then watched the Michael Bay films and were appalled like I was because it was absolutely terrible, then this is redemption. This is how Transformers is supposed to be done. Every character is recognizable. You can see who's who. The characters are intact. Optimus Prime is brilliant.
Yeah, and Starscream is when Starscream opens his voice, "Yes, my Dark Lord."
Yeah, it's a great take. They've really good. Some of the voices. I mean, some of them aren't right. Ironhide doesn't speak like Ironhide anymore, which is a shame because I loved Ironhide in the cartoon. Well, I'm tired of sucking their vapor trail. I loved all that. Okay, why would a robot from outer space have a Southern American accent? I don't know, but who cares? It sounded great. I do miss that.
But that's the one good bit about the Michael Bay films. So how do you know to speak English? He's like, YouTube or eBay.
Yeah, there's always a way. You can explain all that away, can't you? They're robots, so they're going to have access to mainframes. I would have thought, So it's so easy to explain stuff like that with robots. But there's so many nods to the original cartoon and the comic in the new series, and they've taken Megatron and made him a lot more believable as a villain. Anyway, I'm not going to spoil your next podcast by going on in the Weekly Bazaar about a TV show, because that's not what it's about.
It's good to have a geek out, though. It's good to have a geek out. We'll have to get you on one of the live shows sometime, and we can just do that. We'll just have a geek out. That'd be fun.
Have a geek out. Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Shane, you've been fantastic this week. We have had a really good time.
It's been good.
Lucy, I hope you get better. Well,
Yeah, sending love, Lucy. Hope you're feeling better soon.
Shane's sending love. I'm sending a when you're back card. We love you. Make sure you check out all of what we've got to offer at USUK. If you go to usuk.podbean.com, there are free shows available for you to listen to. Obviously, there's this one, The Weekly Bazaar, that goes without saying. There's Superhero Bar Fight with Jamie Westwood and Tom Stevens. And there's also What's the Difference with me and Tom. And we get on guests every week to talk about US and UK culture. In fact, this week we did a Thor skin special, which was really nice. We had Jimmy from he's the co-creator of Thor Skin podcast, and we had a good chinwag. It was really, really nice. Very Thor Skin-esque. We went straight at the end there. We were kind of talking about Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book. It's very Thor Skin-esque, but it's a lot of fun. You guys have been fantastic. Thanks for tuning in this week. I've had a great time. It's been fantastic. So we will catch you next time. This has been The Weekly Bazaar. I've been Alex Whiteley.
I've been Shane Chebsey.
Doesn't feel right, does it? And we'll catch you. And I'm Lucy Orchard. Make sure you check out Lucy's stand-up, Lucy Orchard comedy pages.
Please do. Yeah, check it out. And I've also just released my latest podcast, The Icecast.
Oh, is it released now? Officially released?
Yeah, I just released episode 1, which is an interview with Knockabout publisher Tony Bennett, who published such notable graphic novels as From Hell by Alan Moore and Eddie Campbell, and lots of other amazing creators he's published over the years, like Robert Crumb, Neil Gaiman, incredible Hunt Emerson. So we have a good chat about the history of Knockabout Comics and what they're doing now. So it's a great little chat. Check it out. It's on Podbean, and hopefully it'll be everywhere else eventually. It's called The Icecast.
Fantastic. I definitely check that out. And it's Big World Small Talk, isn't it, Lucy's?
Yeah,
Big World Small Talk. Make sure you check that out. We'll do that again, shall we? This has been The Weekly Bazaar. I've been Alex Whiteley.
I've been Shane Chebsey.
And we're going to get the fuck out of here. Peace out, guys. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.